Nate and Andrew both knew they wanted to be in Scouts a long time before they were old enough because, they had me as a dad who was a Cub Master and Logan as a big brother. And before they even put on a Tiger uniform, they probably had more camping nights than most first-class Scouts do. I remember one trip where I had just gotten all the kid-sized hammock tents, and I had to find trees where we could string them all up close together. And I had like a line going from one hammock to the other so that they were all connected with me at the middle. So if one of y'all got up in the middle of the night, it'd shake my hammock and I'd know it.
Spider Cup.
But by the time y'all were Tigers, I remember there was a Dan Nicholas Park. Two of y'all were like, okay, we're going to go to bed at the campfire. And the other parents were looking at me like, wait, they're going on to bed? Yeah. On their own? Yeah, in their hammocks. They're not even in the same tent with you. Like, they're brave enough to do that as Tigers. Because some of these other kids, it wasn't until like 3rd grade or 4th grade that they could go to sleep in a tent without having a parent there beside them. The Tiger year was super memorable. I'm really glad the Hans are here because we did. The Pinewood Derbies were always super competitive, and I hated it.
Right when you said it turned to
Okay. But I always hated that they were so competitive because there were always some kids that didn't have a car that would run well because their parent couldn't help them. So I was like, okay, as Cub Master, I'm doing all these workshops and everyone's going to get a chance to fine tune their car. So we did like 3 or 4 workshops that year. And the thing that I forgot is that my boys were showing up for all those workshops to tune up their car at the same time. So when they came in 1st, 2nd, and 4th, I have never been more thankful for Wyatt for coming in 3rd. That way it didn't look like I was like just hoping my boys like, see, there's another kid with a fast car, at least one. But I remember at day camp leading y'all around. Y'all, Nate, Andrew, y'all remember the song we sang? I know a song that gets
No.
So it's like 8 of me followed by 8 little ducklings behind me.
Yeah.
Every station we're going to, we're screaming that song at the top of our lungs. Everyone knew where our den was at on day camp the whole time.
Not like they wanted to.
So there was also the water bottle story.
The what?
So at day camp, I think this is mostly with you. You had accidentally misspoke and said water bottle instead of water bottle.
Oh, yeah, that's,
You stuck with it the entire week.
that sounds right.
I don't remember that one.
There was another story from day camp that there's a kid there. I think his name might have been. If I got an interesting background, yeah. I think his name was Paul. Anyway, he was on the autism spectrum. He was a super nice kid, but completely fascinated with bugs. And I saw both of y'all two really reach out to him in a way that it made me very proud, because this was a kid that normally he wouldn't participate in anything. He'd be off in his own little world, and y'all really reached out to him to engage with him and help him. And by the end of the week, he was one of the gang. People from across camp were coming up with, like this bug they had caught. They'd give it to him, and he'd add it to his little collection in the water bottle and stuff. But it was really good seeing the two of y'all that had stepped up, and even at that age, y'all were reaching out to other people that might have trouble fitting in.
I'd like to add in, we were only there because he had like 10 roly-polies, so.
Yeah. I'm not going to read all this word for word, but when I got to step down as a den and become a den leader in y'all's Bear and Meeblo's years, that was great, because as Cub Master, I didn't get to spend a lot of time with y'all or with Logan, but as den leader, I really did. We got to go through stuff like the Weeblo's adventure camps where we had the thunderstorms every night, and y'all got like 2 hours of sleep. Y'all remember having to go to the dining hall every night and watch awful 80s movies on VHS.
Hey, we got to watch Space Jam for the first time.
And the second time, and I think for the third time. They only had like 3 movies, so we watched them all. then, you know, when we were, you know, were a little bit older visiting troops, you know, even though Logan was at a troop, I was still giving y'all the choice of what troop y'all wanted to be in. Where's Aaron at? See, back there? See, because I remember y'all were having trouble cooking, and y'all's whole patrol was kind of making some mistakes, and you know, Aaron had something to do with his own patrol, but he just stepped up, and he's like, I see these Weeblos guys, I'm gonna help them out, and I'm gonna pitch in, and so he was there like every meal y'all were cooking, trying to show y'all how to do it and teach y'all how to do it. And if it hadn't been for him, much like with his older brother befriending Logan, if he hadn't helped y'all out, I think y'all would have probably gone to 173 or some other troop. So, Aaron, thank you for being welcoming to them.
That was also the same trip with that food. Of
Was it Biohazard? I thought that was
it
with
was.
Calvin.
It was also Biohazard. We
No,
did
no,
this
that,
first time.
Yeah, but that wasn't
this
you
was
who did
this
it.
was with Weeblos.
Yeah, no,
No,
this
it was the same trip, but like that incident happened the same trip too.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah,
I thought that happened later.
Okay. But you know, as you got older, y'all started taking a little bit different paths. You know, you're in different patrols, different sets of friends. You know, Nate's prepping for Philmont, doing the mile swim, stuff like that.
Very recent
Uh,
though.
yeah, but you know, Andrew, you spent a lot of time as a den chief working with den leaders who, you know, adults who are treating you as peers. You know, when you can stand up and off the cuff give a 30-minute talk on autism and for their disabilities awareness stuff, and the parents and den leaders, they were learning stuff from you. It wasn't just teaching the little kids. You know,
No idea how we did that still.
Hey, you did it at the school too.
but you know, both of you have developed over the years a really keen sense of what's right and wrong. You don't hesitate to speak up when something's not right, and both, you know, Andrew's a little bit more overt about it, but you know, you're not slow either to, you know, when something's being done wrong and you look at it as it's unjust, you'll open your mouth too, both of you. As an adult, when y'all were in a troop, I wasn't close enough to see a lot of the things you guys did on campouts, because that's kind of the way it's supposed to be for an adult leader in a troop. Y'all are kind of at arm's length, so y'all can grow up on your own. And I'm glad I got to hear some stories and stuff from people. But you know, as we crossed over into a venturing crew, things changed a little bit again. Mr. Frank, thank you so much for starting and running the crew. I know with COVID it's been a real challenge, but it was a great opportunity. And instead of treating them, instead of treating the boys as Cub Scouts that you have to manage, or Boy Scouts you have to keep at arm's length to let them develop, we could kind of look at them and the other boys in the crew as peers. And maybe slightly less experienced peers, but we could deal with them one-on-one like we would an adult. And now y'all are at the point where y'all just turned 16, and y'all can do things in a way that I sure couldn't at 16. It would be nothing for me to say Thursday you're cooking for the family, and y'all would be able to plan a meal, something edible, nutritious, shop for it, plan for it, cook it, and I wouldn't have to question that. I might have to give you a drive to the store for a few more weeks, but that's something I could have never done.
I suggest to cut back on the peas.
Okay, so
You need
the
to hear the pea story.
the
I
pea
don't
story.
know this one.
There had been a recipe that was called, I think it was called Train Wreck originally, and it was a great recipe. Andrew found something called Train Crash, or maybe I had
It
this.
is shipwreck.
But shipwreck.
It really was a shipwreck.
Shipwreck, okay. So the recipe that he had called for like an ungodly amount of canned peas in this food. That's all you could taste.
It's like just mac and cheese, but like more peas than mac and cheese. Like,
Yeah, it was
not
like,
good.
and I warned him a couple of times, like, Andrew, that doesn't look right. You might want to rethink how many of those. No, that's what the recipe says, and it's on the internet, so it must be true. But right now, I'm just, I'll put these up. I'm just very proud of both of you, young men. Y'all have done a lot and experienced a lot and taught me a lot. Thank you very much.